what did you learn from your previous marriage, and what made you want to get married again? If that marriage, you were like, wow, that's really not for me.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think which way to attack it. I'm going to do it the other way first. So I think the first thing to understand is marriage. If you look at marriage as the institution, it's already going downhill.
Yes.
Marriage was never the problem. It was the person. And marriage is always all about the person, because that is you and them and you're locked in. If you do not choose the right person to marry, you're never going to have a pleasant experience. It's always going to be the worst thing you've ever done, especially in my case where your ex may be, struggling with other things that, are not necessarily savory for society.
Got you.
Why I chose to get married, I'll be honest, is I just thought it was what you did at the time of your life. I had an amazing time in my youth. I traveled, I had so much fun, and I just thought, okay, I'm getting older. Time to settle down.
Yes.
If you get married because it's time to settle down, good luck to you, because you are playing roulette with your life. And that's the truth of it. But because we are conditioned so much as women to see marriage as success, and we don't say it as women, but we do. When we're married or engaged, we feel like we've done something. We feel like, yes.
But isn't that because marriage provides the security that I think a lot of women actually want?
A lot of women take care of themselves just fine.
I don't mean physical. I mean relationship security. Because that's like the ultimate form of emotional security, like the commitment that he gives. Like, I've signed my life to you, and I'm here for you for life.
So now,
and I think that's what's so attractive about it to women. But you tell me. I
think that's true, but I think it's the security, not in the sense of, like I said, not the person be like, I love you, I'm here, I'm with you. It's, I've managed to get someone to marry. I'm getting married, and so many people don't put thought into the actual relationship.
I agree.
It's more the marriage.
People want the wedding, not the marriage. Yeah.
Yes. And it's almost like, and some people even want the marriage, but more of the tick box exercise. So with my ex-partner, on paper, it looked great. He was attractive. I was attractive, if I do say so myself. We both had good jobs. We made good money. Well, no, we made great money. He came from a nice family. I came from everything on paper was tick, 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 tick.
Yes.
The reality is, a lot of women do that. They look at what is on paper. However, you don't build a relationship with that person. You don't build a real bond. If I was to talk about our relationship in dating, it was mediocre at best. It wasn't, an amazing relationship. He wasn't my best friend. We didn't, there were actually some quite horrible times with him, but you just kind of put it down to, relationships are tough, because that's what we hear all the time.
I hear that. But this is why I think marriage is going downhill, because marriage never used to be about the relationship of people. Like, the original institution of marriage was a contract. And a big reason why people got married back in the day was to bring two good families together, was to maintain land and maintain wealth, etc., was to, make sure you raise certain children who are going to do this. Because that's why arranged marriages were a thing. Like, they weren't saying, I'm going to choose this person because I think, your son and my daughter are going to have the best time and best relationship. It was because there was a contractual purpose, and there was a logistical purpose to marriage. And I think that's why it's not working, is because we have applied this romanticism of, marriage is supposed to be about who my best friend is, etc. And I'm not saying it can't be that, but the original institution of marriage was never actually about that. And I think it's only in the past century that we've romanticized it because of the novels and the books and stuff. And I'm not saying marriage isn't a beautiful thing of declaration of love, but the original institution of marriage it wasn't actually about love or relationships. It was about the logistics of maintaining position within families in a society. I mean, even the late Queen, her marriage was arranged too.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I don't, even with the royals, we think, they chose, but no, a lot of people had to co-sign, maybe except for Harry, because Meghan was a...
So I can't tell you how much I disagree with what you just said.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
Because women didn't have a voice. So all that sounds good on paper. Women were slaves and prisoners, and they just had no economic or social ability to move.
That's true.
if you needed to, a lot of marriages worked because physically the woman could not survive outside. she couldn't actually support herself. So it was either stay in this marriage, which, let's not talk about the side note of being shunned by society and not being accepted, at whatever level you were, no matter how rich you were. If you were a divorced woman, you were looked at as just trash. So, but financially, like for your children, so I think a lot of marriage worked back then because women had no rights.
I think
because marriage is still a contract. Marriage is still all of those things. The only difference now is women can have a voice.
Yeah, but the arranged marriages were also, it wasn't, the men weren't choosing, the men weren't like choosing who they wanted to marry based on who they felt as well. Like a lot of it was, what I'm trying to say is marriage back then was in service for the family and community, not the relationships.
Because what it was is whether the man was choosing or not, he knew that this woman didn't have any ability to leave. So he could do pretty much whatever he wanted, treat her however he wanted, and she wasn't going anywhere. Marriage in this day and age, there is an expectation of behavior from men, and that is why marriage is failing. I'll be honest with you.
You think marriage is failing because
of men? Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. Because men have a mentality, and we kind of touched on it earlier, where they want to do what they want when they want. That is not marriage. When you are two independent people who now have to become interdependent. So that woman has to have a voice. That woman has to have a say.
I disagree entirely. I think the reason marriages fail is because we expect too much from them. We expect this person to be our best friend. We expect this person to be our teacher. We expect this person to be our student. We expect this person to be the best person we can go shopping with, but also the best person we can fight a war with. We expect all this. I think we expect too much from our spouse nowadays. And I think what happens is when people don't meet those expectations, which none of us can because no one's perfect, that's when people go, oh, wow, this ain't for me anymore.
I do not agree with that. I think if you ask a lot of people who've been divorced, it has been years of trying to make it work. I think there's such a narrative that people wake up and be like, I'm off, I'm done. You are not my best friend. Whereas people have gone through years and years and years, marriage counseling, church counseling, everything to try to make it work.
I don't think people are doing marriage and church counseling, but that is not
you'd be surprised.
That is not the average married couple.
Okay, not necessarily church counseling, but I mean, okay, either or both if you're of that kind of religious persuasion.
Yeah, but even marriage counseling, that is not the average couple. It's not the average couple.
Okay. Maybe they're not doing official marriage counseling, but they got one auntie or uncle. Some
random auntie from Nigeria.
What I'm saying is people work on it. They try to fix it. But a lot of the times, the reason they haven't... they aren't able to fix it is because one person is not willing to give. One person wants to be who they are, and that person is exhibiting very negative behaviors, and the marriage has to end. And if you ask people who have been married for a very long time, they will tell you that they've been through trials and tribulations, and one may have cheated on the other. So it's not because you're not this amazing person to me all the time, I'm leaving. I don't think that's how marriage works. I think people rush into marriage not understanding what marriage actually is. And because they don't understand what it is, they don't know how to bend to be in a marriage. So
you think marriages are failing today because men used to have all the freedom to exercise what they want before, and now they can't, and now that's why it's failing? Yeah,
because, well, no, that's not the sole reason. Like, I'm not,
I know, I'm asking.
Yeah, I think that is one of the reasons. I think another reason is, again, because there is a freedom of choice and movement, a lot of institutions who used to push marriage, and, people got married. People now in the marriages are waking up, and more so women, because, they now have the resources to move, and being like, this doesn't make sense. Why did you guys make me do this? Like, because women don't actually understand. To be married, and I'll tell you the truth, you have to be married to somebody that you like and who likes you. That's the truth. To stay with one person, especially for a man, when there is bum everywhere, boobs everywhere, new women. Listen, there's nothing like men like more than sampling a new woman. So to sell out that part of yourself and be focused on this woman, you have to wake up every day and, challenge yourself to focus and fight the urge of temptation. Like, women, let's stop deceiving ourselves that men are not tempted when they go outside. So as a man, to be able to do that is a huge thing, and you have to have that mentality.
Do you think it's harder to do that today?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. So much more. Instagram, social media, city girls, Well, city
girls like you tempting other husbands. You're part of the problem. No, I'm just joking. I think, okay, here's where I think we see the fundamental difference in marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I think marriage is about duty, and you think marriage is about love. And that's
no. I think marriage is about love and duty.
I think it's about duty.
Yeah, no.
And I'm not saying you shouldn't have love in your marriage, but if you're going to have a marriage that's going to last 40 plus years, there are going to be periods where you think you don't love your partner. There are going to be periods where you don't want to choose your partner.
I don't agree with that. You should never think you don't love your partner. You might not like your partner. They might listen.
I think love fluctuates.
Duty can only carry you outside of the home. When you're in the house and you're sitting down and watching TV and you're trying to have a conversation with someone who you have nothing in common with, who you have nothing to talk about with.
I'm not saying
duty doesn't carry that. No, but that is a lot of marriages.
I know, but what I'm saying is, I'm not saying you shouldn't have love within a marriage, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have friendship within a marriage, but the aspect of marriage is a commitment of duty to each other.
I understand that, but you need to have the foundation of those two things you just mentioned. But in order to be able to maintain your duty, you have to have a reason why. So anything we do in life, we have a reason why. If you're pushing, let's say someone's pushing to become a singer and they're getting no. Your passion and your love for the thing is what keeps you going in your pursuit of that thing. If you are in a situation where it's just no, and you don't even like the thing in the first place, you don't even know why you're there, you're not even happy, your mental health is in tatters.
I'll tell you why I disagree. Have you seen the film Fences with Denzel Washington?
No, it looks way too traumatic for me. That film looks like misery and sadness, and I don't go near those scenes.
It has one of the best scenes ever made in film.
I think I saw it when he tells her that he's got another woman or something.
No. It's the scene with his son.
Okay.
So he's Denzel Washington. He's very hard on his son, very strict father, right? And obviously he's, he's providing for the house and everything like that. And they're in the garden, they're working. And his son just kind of stops where his father says something, tells him to do something. And his son just says, he stops and he goes, "Dad, why don't you like me?" And he goes, "Why don't I like you?" He's like, "I don't got to like you."
Yeah.
He's like, "Do you have food in your belly?" "Yes, sir." "Do you have a roof over your head?" "Yes, sir." "Do you have a bed to sleep in?" "Yes, sir." "Do you have clothes on your back?" "Yes, sir." He's like, "It's not my job to like you. It's my responsibility to take care of you because I am your father. And by having you, that is the commitment that I've made to you. That is the duty I have to you." When you may have a marriage with somebody, when you say, "I'm going to have children with someone, I'm going to have a family, or I'm going to bring these families together," marriage is the commitment of the duty.
That's not so toxic.
It's not toxic. I'm not saying there shouldn't be love.
No, but
what I'm saying is like, it's an element of responsibility.
For your son and I think that's where we go wrong in this day and age. That yes, you can do all the outward things that money provides. For your child to look at you and say, "Why don't you like me?" which I hear love really behind that. You have failed in an emotional element as a parent.
I don't disagree.
So it's not that. And the difference is a child and a father bond, that can't stop being your dad. That can't stop being your child. However, when you have that with someone who you're married to, who literally makes you feel horrible, life is for living and life is tough enough.
I'm not saying you should stay. I'm not saying it's okay to be in a marriage that is horrible. I'm saying because love can fluctuate, there are going to be years when you have amazing times, and there are going to be years where you have very difficult times, and there could be difficult times because of external things.
But that's the thing.
But I think it's when you have that sense of duty that even though this is hard, right, and even though I really can't stand this person, the commitment that I made to them through marriage right now is going to get me through this time. Because the irony is, if those fathers who run away from their children have this sense of duty, they would all step up to the plate.
Facts.
As fathers. Regardless whether they want the child or not.
Agreed.
Regardless whether they love the woman or not. They would all step up to the plate. And so because of that, I think if we have more of this mentality of taking responsibility, irregardless of how we feel, I think we'll all raise a better environment for children and for society.
So I think it's exactly what you said. There are good times sometimes, and there are bad times sometimes. But there has to be the balance of a lot of relationships, that marriages, there are not good times. So I see the responsibility and duty as the car, and the care and the love and the passion as the petrol. Like you need both of them to keep this thing moving forward. You can't have one without the other. It's not going to work. And I think where marriages fail is because, and my mum and dad have been married for, how old am I? Well, I'm not going to say now.
We almost got her.
But they've been married for a very long time.
Yes. Congratulations to them.
I know,
great to
it's
hear.
lovely, and I will say they're like my goals, but
Yes.
I definitely see this shared hand in hand of duty and care. And
I think that's the best we can ask for.
both. Like, you can't have just duty, because
No.
it's just going to be an ice in the house, and you can't have just care, because it's just two cowboys just not being successful in any.
I agree. I think ultimately, and this is the last thing I'll say, ultimately what I'm saying is I think we value the love aspect too much without the duty.
Yes.
And I think when you're in a relationship, it's about the love. When you say, I am going to marry you, I am making a commitment to you.
Yeah.
And that should be up there too. And the reason I say it's important is because this can fluctuate.
Yeah.
But as long as this stays up here,
Yeah.
you're going to have a successful time.
So can I just add to that and close it as well and say, I think you're right, but I think what it is, it's kind of the opposite. So women need to value duty more, and men need to value love, come down and value that love piece more, and have it more as a balance.
I think that's fair.
Hope you really enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode where that clip is from, then I want you to click right here where you can watch the full episode. And if you're ready to claim your man today, enroll in my program below, and I'll see you there. Wishing you an amazing day.